Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I have an easy card design to share with you. I love this little bird. I'm using the Petal Palette bundle, but I'll start off with a layering circle die to remove a corner of the card front. Petal Palette is a really big and gorgeous stamp set, and the Thinlit dies are amazing. I'm going to sponge some color onto the pieces that I removed with the dies, starting off with So Saffron and then adding a layer of Peekaboo Peach. I've taken one of the Stampin' Sponges and cut it into 4 equal pieces. So by holding the sponge in my finger, I pick up some of the ink, dab some off on this little scrap of an old envelope, and then I'm very lightly sponging color onto just the curved areas of both of the pieces that are die cut. This is going to give the appearance of still being a white, clean and simple card, but it's going to give me some contrast as well. When I first saw the design for this, I thought this looked like a morning sun, so that's where my design elements are inspired from. I've used the large branch from the Petals and More Thinlits dies, and I see that there's a couple of possibilities of how I can use them. I decided to use the actual die cut, and so because it is such a large piece, then I have enough from die cutting once to be able to use it on both corners of the card. Liquid glue is just right to adhere the pieces down. I do want the leaves to hang over the curved section of the die cut so that they'll hang over onto the white area. This is going to give me some interest. It'll be eye-catching just in those areas, and when planning a clean and simple card, little tiny areas like this are important for not overcomplicating the design, but allowing the eye to naturally fall on that area. Here is the other area of that same die cut piece, and instead of having it go from the outside of the card to the inside of the card, I thought it would be interesting to turn it in the direction of being just from like the bottom area of the card. So here is the story about this little bird. This little bird, it's a bell that my husband and I got when we had our honeymoon out in the Poconos, and we got it in a little craft shop. So I thought it would be fun to add the coloring of this bird to what would be a morning sunrise on the 2 corners of the card. So I've stamped it in soft suede ink, and using some of my Stampin' Blends markers, I'm just adding simple coloring to the areas of the bird. Nothing fancy or strategically planned on the coloring. I'm just adding some color in, and then with the color lifter marker, I'm pushing the color back away from the areas that need to stay light. To highlight the eye of the bird, I'm using my basic black Stampin' Write marker to create just a little black spot around where the eye would be. So I'm going to now adhere these 2 corner pieces right back in where they were cut away from. So I've got a card base now, and I'm using the piece that I cut away from as a guide for placement. I realized after the fact that I could just put it into the corner and it should fit perfectly, but for some reason I felt like I needed to have it there as a guide. It's funny the things that we look back in retrospect and see that we could do differently, isn't it? Because I want to use a really strong and stable foam adhesive, I decided to use the foam adhesive strips to give some dimension to the area of the card that was just the card panel. So you can see now that there is a recessed color area, and the little bird is able to sit there on the pieces that are overlapped and be stable. And now I'm highlighting with some Wink of Stella. Just a little something extra to add onto the already clean and simple card. I'm going to add another bird to the inside and then adhere the panel on the inside of the card with some liquid glue. So the bird echoes the design on the outside of the card. I now want to share some of the projects that my children have been bringing home from school this month. Here's a picture of Nate, and his teachers must have made the little ornament, and Nate made the little owl with his hands, and then Nate also, he's in pre-K, he made this little ornament, and it is so cute, and I love all the dimension and the texture that they've helped him to create. And Trip made this little ornament that's it's a gingerbread man, and then he made these also. Thank you guys so much for supporting me this year and for being a part of my Stampin' Up! Family. I appreciate it more than I can ever express. All of the components are available as of the first week of January in my online store. If you're in need of a Stampin' Up! Catalog, please feel free to contact me by email at jennystampsup@gmail.com. For online shopping, go to jennystampsup.com and click on Shop Now. Thank you so much for joining for this tutorial. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.